My name is Megan Sanger. I am a BS in theater major with a cinematic arts minor, and I'm kind of a super senior here at Liberty. I chose my major not totally by choice. When I was a kid, I was just praying and asking God. I was like, I have this love for missions and also for theater. And I was just like, God, what do you want me to do? I love both of these things, and I didn't see any correlation. And then one day I was reading a book, and one of the quotes in the book was like, hey, God needs people everywhere. And I was like, oh, duh. God needs Christians to be actors, to be creators, to be in theater. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'll be a missionary as an actor, as a theater major. And I just always loved storytelling, so it was just a natural progression of, oh, this is the way God made me. Oh, the missions trip to Puerto Rico was so much fun. So I'd always wanted to go on a missions trip, and it had just never worked out. And then I was accepted onto the trip with Liberty, and we went specifically as a drama missions trip. And so we had pieces that the missions trips had done before in the past, and then we created pieces specifically for Puerto Rico with their history from the hurricanes. And so we got to do wordless drama, primarily because there's a language barrier. Most of the people in Puerto Rico are bilingual, whereas we are not. But still, when you're doing a street drama or a wordless drama, you are telling a story without the words. And a lot of times that's even more powerful because people connect to that in the music in a totally different way. But it was really neat to get to tell stories about Jesus and cross the language barrier and cross age barriers and just reach everyone with a story, because everybody understands a story. One of my favorite experiences was at my home church. We always do a fundraiser dinner for our students, and they asked me to do a drama at the dinner. So I got to write and direct and cast and produce a little skit for this dinner. And it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. That was the first time I'd gotten to write a skit and see it produced. And it was really special because it touched people. The way that creativity is sparked for me is typically when I see or I hear or I experience something that's in my everyday world that God has already made. And I'm inspired by that because it triggers something in my brain that starts telling a story. And I was like, where did that come from? So it's just, a lot of times it's seeing what God has made and it just pops into my brain. My journaling. I have always been a journaler. I have journals from when I was like 4 years old. But so typically what I would do, how it really got started was I started a prayer journal because I wanted to be more intentional with my praying. And I realized that I get distracted very easily. So I decided to start writing it down, because if I'm writing, then I'm actually physically doing something and I'm not going off on little rabbit trails everywhere. So I started writing as a prayer journal, and it's kind of affected everything that I do, because that's how I think through things. It's how I process. That's how I make decisions. It's how I a lot of times meditate on the word, because I also get distracted when I'm reading. So I'll start writing out passages of scripture. And so just having that physical action allows me to take my creative process and also focus on God and kind of bring it all together. I think, so the specific moment that I think shaped my view of theater that I think of immediately was one time my church was doing a production of the Easter, and I was singing a solo, and the lyrics were throughout the thing, on the day that their creator died, on the day that Jesus died, the sun refused to shine. And as I was standing there singing it, I was looking out over the audience, and I was just thinking, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that was just a moment that I was like, I am supposed to be a storyteller. I am supposed to share these stories that I care so deeply about with other people. And it was just a knowing of this is the way that I'm made and where I'm supposed to be.